Hi everyone, this is Naren's Life with MS. I am Naren. I'm so sorry that I'm playing with my hair. I just found that there was a cowlick. But with that being said, let's get started on today's video, which is, of course, Soulful Saturday. At this Soulful Saturday, I did want to talk about something that, does come during the time when there is something big happening, especially um, in regards to sports. Now, which sporting event I'm talking about? It is, of course, the Cricket World Cup and, the T20 World Cup. It's not the full 50 over World Cup, the what most people call the actual World Cup, but it is definitely a World Cup that does happen. And today was the first game for a lot of countries, six to be perfectly honest. But one thing that does end up happening when there are sporting events is at least something that I do is I tend to resort to a lot of superstition that if there are some things that I did and in those circumstances my team won, I would continue with those exact you know I'm superstitious enough to pretty much engage in the exact same activities. And more so than that, I think the bigger issue is usually watching sporting events. And this is sporting events for any sport for me. My blood pressure tends to, hit a certain, almost an unhealthy range, just because I get so nervous about what is happening. And that is what I actually wanted this Soulful Saturday to be about, which is essentially um how superstitious you are, if you are a big sporting fan. And on top of that, do you sometimes engage in certain superstitious activity to just keep your blood pressure or your nervousness, your nerves at bay? Because I definitely do from time to time. I definitely am one of those people that, you know, realizes that if there is a certain superstition that, if I follow, um, will actually help me alleviate a little bit of my blood pressure just to keep me sane to some extent. I engage in it. I mean, today's match was pretty nerve-wracking to say the least, but more so than just being nerve-wracking, I think the bigger issue was that there was a lot of the superstitious activities that I would do, I actually did not end up doing. And as a result, actually what ended up happening was I kind of forgot a lot of them. And it actually was very funny for me because I realized that I forgot all of the things that I would normally do. There has been a little bit of time that has happened since the last time a World Cup happened, and at least when it comes to T20, that was 2 years back. And since then, I don't think there has been another World Cup, or at least a World Cup like thing. I mean, yes, there have been other smaller tournaments, but nothing quite like a world stage tournament that I would remember to conduct those superstitious activities in. And that's why I did want to ask you the question of whether you do, if you do follow sports, whether you do believe in certain superstitions. I mean, I do remember that when I was in college, um, it just ended up being one superstition that I would always hold is I would wear my university's football jersey every time an American football game would happen with my university, where my university was playing. And because it became a thing that I would end up doing, I continued to do that at least until I was even here, like after graduation, for I want to say at least 2 or 3 years. And the reason being just because I felt like there was some form of superstitious element attached to it. And now, usually my superstitions when it comes to cricket does not involve wearing a team jersey or engaging in certain things. It definitely involves certain activities that I would do in the past that would at least for me, um, like lower my anxiety, definitely make me feel a little more assured of my team's success. But experiencing it today and completely forgetting what I used to do in the past just made me realize that okay, I need to, maybe it's not so much about the superstition or the activities I would do, but just about trying to find ways to lower my stress, lower my nerves, ease sort of my anxiety. And at the end of the day, yes, I agree, it is just a game, but at the end of the day, you know, you uh, there are a few people that do love a team or do follow a team to such an extent that everything pretty much boils down to following those superstitions, making sure that you feel at ease with everything that is everything that makes you feel at ease in watching your team play, right? One thing that I do remember that I would do, and I did do it for IPL especially, or the Indian Premier League, and even the Women's Premier League, funnily enough, was that with my team there are certain things that I do and I almost live by some of the rules I have over there, because the times where I was actually engaging in those activities, my team won. So so do share your thoughts, do share your experiences on how superstitious are you when it definitely comes to team events, and definitely when it comes to certain sports that you do end up following, because it would be great to have your own it would be great to have your insights, to have your thoughts, and of course whatever thoughts you share, whatever insights you share, or even whatever experiences you share, um, we can definitely get a conversation started on that. And the reason I bring up this topic is just because I do understand that being a person with MS, generally I want to keep myself as calm as possible, as upbeat as possible. And it just so happens that I have been, considering that I normally I cannot play a sport, I have always been a huge fan of team sports. So, a lot of times it has become a source for stress for the most part for me. So yes, do share your thoughts on how you do end up alleviating a lot of that stress, how you lower your blood pressure, especially if you are a sports fan and you engage in certain superstitious activity to ensure that your team ends up winning. So yes, do share your thoughts, and I do hope that your weekend is going very well. And why shouldn't it? It's a great Saturday. And with that said, I do want to wish you a good night, sweet dreams. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. Bye.